So I hope you can see my screen.
We see it.
Oh, great. So it's 11:40. And let's have an introduction to interactive sessions. We have talked now about batch jobs, which means that you define what to be done in advance, basically. So you create a script maybe, and maybe a workflow even, where you describe exactly what is to be done on the compute nodes. Sometimes you need to do some development and test your scripts and see if it works, even with the big data or with running many processes. So that means that you want some more interaction, but still using the compute nodes. It can also be if you want to look at your data, plot many figures, and do some real-time analysis. Then you can simply book an interactive session and using the graphics as well. Or playing with your data. One example where you would use that is, for Python, is if you maybe run a Jupyter lab or notebook, where you basically do live interaction with your data. That's but you could also use other tools for looking at your scripts. Yes. So an interactive session is a session with direct access to a compute node. And or in other words, there is no queue before a command is run on the compute node. Well, it is maybe a queue to get your allocated resources, but when you are on the interactive session, you can work in your own pace. So if you run a command, you will get the result directly instead of waiting for results. And at HPC2N and UPPMAX, this is provided in slightly different ways. So this is for HPC2N. We normally work on the login node. So what you do, if you're not using sbatch, you can do salloc, where you are still on the login node, but you can use the srun command to reach the job on the compute node. So basically, when you are in this interactive session with salloc, you can run your program directly with srun. And I will show you a link a little bit later, or how to start Jupyter in this way as well. On UPPMAX, instead of using salloc, we use something called interactive, which means that we actually physically move ourselves to the compute nodes. And here we can run our jobs. We can both run it in an ordinary way, or we use srun if we want to use several cores, for instance. In both ways, if you want to go back to an ordinary session, you use the exit command. This is also true for UPPMAX, like here. Yes. Yes, and at the UPPMAX, salloc will work as well, but there are some things that won't work. I think the graphics is worse if you use salloc. So interactive is more like a so-called wrapper around this salloc. So SLOC is native to the Slurm system itself, but this interactive is something that we locally have developed at UPPMAX. And I'm not sure if this is true, if interactive is available at HPC2N as a command.
It is not.
No, okay, so then this is a mistake from another course that I just copy pasted from. Okay, sorry. So how this typically works? Well, at UPPMAX, as I said, we run this interactive command and we define the project name with the -a. So it's the same commands that's it's basically the Slurm commands that we used inside these batch job scripts. So for instance, in this course at UPPMAX, we put this number here for HPC2N is this one. So what you do, you can, for instance, allocate 4 cores. You put some time as well, but this will be the same for UPPMAX. Okay, yes. So when this is done, you may have to wait a little bit, but then it says that we have a pending job and it's queued, and then we wait for resources, and then now this node is ready for a job and we are logged in. And in this case, we see that you may see here Rakam4. This is the login node where we were at from the beginning. Later on, when we are on the compute node in the interaction session, we just have this single letter R, R314 in this case. And at HPC2N, yes, yeah, we won't see anything. Yeah. Yes, this, yeah, you can give some more options here, like we have seen before for the batch jobs. So I will jump this a little bit. I can mention that dev core is if you are if you want resources very fast and your job is shorter than 1 minute. For instance, 10 seconds. No, 1 hour, I mean. So you can book these specific nodes or cores and get the resources very fast for short jobs in 1 hour. This is for UPPMAX. For HPC2N, it's one single queue, so you don't specify a certain partition like we can do at UPPMAX. You can check either then, yeah, you see here the R is here. Here you have a compute node for HPC2N. Yes, and you can also run host name to see where you are. This won't work at HPC2N. Well, yes, yeah, it will work. So if you run this srun hostname, you see this output 4 times because in this case you booked 4 cores. Yes, so running srun hostname, you will get this info. Just running hostname on the on Kebikase, you will get the login node. So you always need this srun to reach the compute nodes. Whereas, as I said, for UPPMAX, you are on the compute node physically. But that's the only difference, I would say. You can do interactive work in the same sense in both clusters, more or less. Yes. Expecting amount per course, as I showed you, srun hostname will give output 4 times. And when you are in an interactive session, you should load the Python module again, because it's not inherited automatically from the login session. So you have to do this again. And then you run as usual on UPPMAX. But if you want to run in parallel, like using several cores, you have to use this srun. For HPC2N, you should always run srun, so that you're sure that you're using the compute nodes. All right. Okay, so here we have some examples. I jumped this because this is in the exercise in a while. I could say also that end the interactive session with exit, and that's the same for both, and it will look like this. So at UPPMAX, we see that we are at R, and that's the compute node. Then during exit, we see that it is closed, and we are back at Rackham, which is the login node. So I would like you to do this. I thought this was here, but it has vanished. Yes, so if you do this on Kemdekaiser, and we do this for UPPMAX. So please do this so that you are aware of this, and then we can continue. So I think you can directly start with the exercise. And I'm sorry, now we will get 4 cores. So if you did this, please change these 2 cores to 4 everywhere, so that you know what you're doing. So I will give you like a little bit more than 5 minutes and try to go through these steps, and you can peek on the lines above and see what happens. Or if you have forgotten how to do it. So yeah. So I will give you a couple of minutes, and let me know when you're finished. Up to exercise 4, 5. Yes. And these files, sum, to, and add, they should be here somewhere if you clone. Otherwise you will find it in the programs that probably you are already in this directory, hopefully.
If you just copied the tarball, it will be called the same, except that it's not called HPC minus Python. It's just called
Yes.
exercises, examples,
Yes.
and
It
the rest.
will only be this part. Yes. That's true. It's a question. Can we? Okay, we take that in the notes here. Yeah, regarding add to Pi at the HPC2N, I can get it working by using srun python add to Pi, but we don't see any prompt lines, so we have to add the numbers without being asked for. So if you see my screen here, I put 4 and 7, and then we have some output. Then we have the information. Enter the first number, then enter the second number. Yes.
Yeah, interactive on Kepner-Kaiser only partially works in that way. I mean, it will not return a prompt, but you can still run things on it. But remember that the prompt would probably be shown on the node which you are not seeing. I mean, remember you are sitting on the login node and sending stuff
Exactly.
off to the compute node with srun. And any output that goes from it comes on the compute node, and you will not see it. So you have to give it everything. Give it the arguments directly, or just put them in without seeing the prompt for it. Unfortunately, it's
Yeah. So when discussing this sum to args, there you should add the numbers directly on the same line, so then it works. But it's a way of, yeah, it's like a batch job then, but with some interaction. So
the problem is that that you are on the login node, and it's running on the compute node. So.
Yes, so unfortunately, if it works well, would depend on how the program is written. But the main problem is that the prompt is not working. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So with that, we have some discussion of the result. Is there any other issue? Otherwise, we break for lunch. And yes, so we convene at 1 o'clock. And we will see if we start with the next session or if we should have a short wrap up of the morning session. Me and Birgit and Pedro can discuss this. So after lunch, we will go more into the details of GPUs and parallelisms and machine learning. So hope to see you then. A good lunch.
Enjoy lunch.